to the 43rd Annual Community Service Recognition Event, the Live United Awards. My name is Nancy. I'm the Chief Meteorologist at KION News Channel 546. Thank you very much. Now, this year's theme is Time-Inspired Volunteers, and will take us on a journey to the past, present, and the future throughout Monterey County and beyond. Honoring those who go above and beyond to help others through volunteering is a tradition for United Way. In alignment with the United Way's community impact approach, this year we are celebrating the civic engagement of volunteers who give their time, their talent, and passion to address the prioritized needs in our community. Specifically, we will honor volunteers who improve access to early care and education, housing solutions, homelessness mitigation, and improve the asset growth and economic self-sufficiency of residents here in Monterey County. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Clyde Roberson to commemorate this event.
Am I okay? Yeah, good. Well, what a pleasure to see everybody here in our beautiful city. I always say Monterey is a beautiful place to live, to work, and to visit. And when you think of Monterey, many times people will think of the beautiful day, which we enjoyed earlier. And aren't you glad the wind didn't blow us right off? And then we think about our hospitality industry, the Defense Language Institute, the Naval Postgraduate School, just a really true fisherman's wharves, very complex city. But there's a commonality to all that, and this is a city of giving. I'm a retired elementary school teacher in the city of Monterey, and I think about all the youth who are volunteering. One of the most moving things that I did was about a year ago, when the Never Again, as a result of the Parkland shootings, where the youth were so activated and have become politically activated. I know we have youth here who are serving other people. So we have all of those things that make Monterey beautiful, but it's the heart of giving that I think really makes Monterey. I think about all of you who are volunteering in the parks, in the schools. Housing is a really big thing on our agenda all the time. Homelessness. All of those things can be solved when we are united in a united way. I just had the opportunity to be at a fundraiser for Gathering for Women, which is a service during the day that helps homeless women. There were 210 people at this breakfast donating millions of dollars for this facility. Currently, there is an endeavor going on where there will be a homeless shelter in Seaside with all of the peninsula cooperating. But it always gets back to volunteers in the arts, in the parks, in public safety. I had the opportunity to go to an event. It was the police awards. And there are a lot of people whose job is to serve, but they always go above and beyond. And someone asked me once, it was a Danish-American young lady friend of mine, who said, "What are your main benefits?" And I thought, well, despite what some elementary and middle school kids think, I don't drive a limousine. And that young man just couldn't believe it. And it's a stipend. But the biggest benefit is to be able to go to events like this, to say, thank you so much for all the giving that you do. And if we could get that sense of being united and working together in Washington, D.C., we could transform this country. That's the way we're going to make America great again. I didn't mean to get political. It is everyone in here giving so much. And so as I said, opening up, yes, it's the beauty of Monterey, it's the bay, it's our forest, but it really is you, giving in the united way. And Katie, a special shout out for all that you do as the executive director and your staff, because you bring us all together. So So happy you're here in Monterey, and thank you for everything you do for us to make life wonderful here.
All right, thank you, Mayor Roberson. Now, I'm going to try not to go too far off script here for tonight, but let me welcome some other special guests here this evening. We're going to introduce some of our United Way Monterey County board members who will be here tonight. So when I say your name, please stand and be recognized. If I don't say your name, don't stand and be recognized. But we've got some important people here today who have been doing a lot here. So we'll start with Brett Harrell. Michelle Zarnecki. Warren Floyd. Dr. Willard Llewellyn. Lynette Linciaco. And a special thank you to our sponsors that made this evening possible, the Monterey Plaza Hotel and Spa, for hosting this Live United Awards. John Narigi, Vice President General Manager of Monterey Plaza Hotel and Spa for 26 years. We thank John and his staff for their outstanding service and support. We'd also like to thank our sponsors this year, Community Hospital for the Monterey Peninsula, Union Bank, Central Coast Federal Credit Union, Nunes Company, Tony Leach and Ray LLP, Pearson and Associates, Granite Rock, Coles, I love the energy here tonight. Let's keep that going. Media Locate Incorporated. And thank you to our in-kind donors, Monterey Plaza Hotel and Spa, McIntyre Vineyards, Shine Vineyards, Kathy Yeager Custom Frames, and 5-Star AVs. This a little bit, so I can yell a little bit louder at you all. Now, to kick off this evening's event, I'd like to invite Katie Castagna, you might have met her before, President and CEO of United Way Monterey County, to join me.
Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can still hear you.
All right. Well, welcome. I hope you all had a moment to enjoy or an hour to enjoy our patio and the plaza and the beautiful evening outside. I feel like it's a good excuse for a bad hair day. Wind blown. But I'm glad to have you all here together. It is my pleasure to introduce a few other special guests we have with us tonight. We have representing Supervisor John Phillips, we have Josh Stratton. Josh is here. Stephen Jimenez, representing Assembly Member Rivas. And then we have our District Attorney, Janine Pacione. I would also like to introduce our Emerging Leaders Society. We have a number of our members here tonight, and our United Way Emerging Leaders Society is a network of young professionals who support our mission, vision, and initiatives by volunteering their time to make long-lasting change within Monterey County. Would all of you involved in our Emerging Leaders Society please stand? You'll be hearing from some of them who are involved in our program tonight. I'd also like to thank our friends from Kohl's. We have several volunteers from Kohl's who came to help prepare for the program tonight. So thank you so much to our Kohl's friends. And now I'm going to hand it back to you, Dan.
All right, thank you, Katie. The Community Service Awards began over 43 years ago, and the priority areas of service changed along with the needs of our community. Here with us tonight to talk about these priority areas is United Way Monterey County Board Chair Brett Harrell.
I'm going to try and turn this on because I don't think it is, but my wife and kids would tell me I didn't need it. But they're not here, so hey, there we go. So they don't really give me a script, and it kind of scares them, but it's okay. You know, you give a lawyer a microphone, and that's what happens. I've been honored to serve as board chair almost the last couple of years. Before that, I served on the committee that worked on Impact Monterey, and you know, Dan's told you that we're 43 years into this. I kind of look like think about it as we're 2 years into this, because really what's happened is that United Way has changed. And you ought to understand the change that we've undergone as a nonprofit. You know, the way I put it is, we used to be one of the most efficient ways of gathering your funds and distributing them. Today, we're moving the ball on our own. We are bringing together, collaborating, identifying key issues. We're fighting for the financial stability of Monterey County families. But the one thing that makes us the same is you folks. We know the work we do is through you. And so we thank you. We appreciate you being here tonight, and we look forward to honoring each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. We all know who the doers are in our community, right? And I can tell you, Brett is certainly one of them. He always makes time for United Way and for our community. So thank you, Brett. It's been a pleasure to work with you in that capacity. So we thought it would be fun to hear tonight from one of the most notorious volunteers in Monterey County. And when we thought about who that might be, it was obvious that we needed to ask Julianne Lozano, who is truly a time-inspired volunteer. I had the pleasure of serving on a board with Julianne, and I saw what a force of nature she is when it comes to event planning. She works full-time as a major account and community advocate manager at MDS Business Systems, but I don't know how she fits it in because she has huge responsibilities throughout the community in various volunteer roles. Julianne's been a board member for Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula for 2 decades, served on the board of the Monterey Peninsula Chamber of Commerce for, they're telling me 18 years, 3 terms, and is currently serving on the board of the Salinas Valley Chamber of Commerce. Additionally, she has chaired the Rio Grill Resolution Run, that lovely event first thing on New Year's Day, and that raises money for nonprofit organizations and has been a wonderful, just a wonderful focal point for holidays in Monterey and a charitable connection to our healthy endeavors. She's also a key volunteer with the California International Air Show in Salinas, where she's been named Volunteer of the Year in 2016, Director of the Year in 2010. She was chosen as Partner Volunteer of the Year in 2011 by Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula, and was honored as Volunteer of the Year in 2011 by the Monterey Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. I think we're probably forgetting a few of these honors, but I do know that most recently she's been recognized by KSBW as one of this year's Jefferson Award honorees. So we hope to hear a little bit more this evening from Julianne about what inspires her to volunteer. So please help me welcome Julianne Lozano.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really thrilled to be here. I love what the United Way does, and I love what you all do in our community as well. I love that people are waving at me and telling me that this is okay, because if you know me, I don't really like public speaking, and Katie was teasing me because when they asked me if I would speak about being involved in the community, it took me 4 days to think about it, because I'd rather do something than stand in front and talk to, especially since now I'm preaching to the choir. So, you know, when they asked me to talk, the first thing I did was what everybody else would do. Let's go Google a quote or something. So, thank you, Internet. So I found a great quote from Elizabeth Andrew that said, volunteers do not necessarily have more time, they just have big hearts. And that's the reality, because all of you have big hearts because you do so much in our community. I actually grew up here as well. I grew up in Marina. My father was military, 20 years in the Army, and then retired. And when he retired, he became actively involved in the community. So growing up, I got to see what that was like. He was involved with the Elwood Lodge, and he was involved with Laguna Seca on the overnight security team. And you can't tell me there was not some shenanigans going on after that, because he'd always come home dead tired, but very happy and had a lot of fun. He was also involved in many other things. But I realized that that is just a way to really get to know people as well. Unfortunately, my father, after serving 20 years in the military and in Vietnam and Korea, was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, when he was 44, and I was 19. And luckily, his journey with ALS was very short, because it's an awful disease, as you all know. So that taught me a lesson that life is short, there are no guarantees, and if you want to make a difference, you need to do it now. You cannot wait for someday when I retire or something like that. And the reality is, in this community, life is wonderful, people are great, but there is a lot of need in our community. Years ago, for Rio Resolution Run, I had to find a nonprofit to be our beneficiary. And I did some research, and there's over 600 nonprofits in our community. That's a lot, and they all do good work, but the reality is that there's not enough volunteers. The challenge here is, I'm preaching to the choir, because you are all volunteers. But the good news is, we're also recruiting our friends, our families, our coworkers. I always joke that I'm surprised people still take my calls, because they're calling for something. There's actually a young lady in the back who I know really well, and I also served on the chamber board with her, and we used to sit together, and she turned to me and goes, do I have to write a check today? Or for my volunteers, and most of the time it was no, but there were times that we needed her support, and she was always there. And that's the benefit, that's the beauty of this community. Our business community is very generous. I did write some notes, but again, luckily I have amazing friends, coworkers, and others, because you don't do this alone. You have to rope in people to help you with all these different events. And I do quite a few, as you know. When someone tells me, I don't know how you do it, I invite them to be part of one of the events that I do. Because the reality is, I think a lot of people would get more involved, but they just don't know how. And if we can show them the way that it's not as scary, it's not going to take too much of your time, unless you really get them in there, you can make it work. I also learned years ago that you have to change your definition of the word no. Because so many times people will tell you no when you're asking for a donation or asking them to volunteer. So in my mind, I just hear not yet. So just know that if you do tell me no, I didn't hear that at all. I will be counting on you to help me in some way anyway, and some people help me in every way, which I very much appreciate. When we all know that not every volunteer assignment is going to be fun, but when it's all said and done, we do look back knowing we've made a difference. And that really is the reality is we don't have any more time than anyone else does, but we believe in creating a better community and bringing people together for a common cause, whatever that may be and whatever's close to your heart. So back to my opening quote. I'm often asked, where do you find time in your busy schedule to volunteer so much? And my standard answer is, lack of sleep, lots of caffeine, and a really good planner. So we know the importance of making time count, and you all do that. So I thank you for letting me speak for a few minutes. I thank you for all you do in our community, and I hope that we continue to do all of this together and rope in a lot more people, because there's a lot we can do here with this powerful group.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lozano. We appreciate it. And thanks to all of your energy in here again tonight. Let's keep some smiles going. We're here to honor a lot of nice, amazing folks here this evening, just like one you just met.
So before we move on, I'd like to introduce a couple of members of our Emerging Leaders Society. I referenced them before. Taylor Yount and Chad Stevens behind me. They're helping us distribute our medals today. So you'll see them going back and forth. We have a very tightly choreographed little thing with Brett and I, and we're going to be doing. So I want to thank you for helping us tonight. Okay.
Just don't expect me to do any choreography. Watch White Christmas, my kids always say, Dad, this is the one you're going to hate. Choreography. Yeah, it doesn't fit. I don't know why.
All right, so this year we recognize volunteers who serve in our community's priority areas: early care and education, housing solutions, and financial education. Now, time is a valuable thing, so let's not waste it and get right into it. We had the opportunity to capture some scenes from our volunteers in action and wanted to share some with you. I'm sure there's a lot of love in your hearts. I feel like that's why we're here today, right? Yeah. Woo! Right. I saw someone dancing in the front row. Please feel free to dance. If you're feeling that jam like this way here, let her rip. So our first category tonight is early care and education. Our volunteers in this category are inspired by their past and are passionate to preserve their heritage and protect the beauty of our community for the benefit of our children. They devote their time today to build gardens and greenhouses, create literacy programs, and spread the love of books. They generously give their time in the classroom and on the playground. Now they look to the future by inspiring our children and youth through history, education, literacy, mentorship, and building WAPIs to ensure clean water to families everywhere. What is a WAPI? Oh, don't worry, we're going to find out about that later. Don't you worry. Before we start recognizing our honorees, though, this is how we're going to do it. If I call your name, please come to the podium where Katie and Brett are standing right over there. Those two little young people over there. I'll be sharing your inspiring volunteer efforts, and then they will adorn you with a recognition medal. And it's, I mean, let her rip when it comes to being enthusiastic about praise and clapping and all that. Just go for it, right? I mean, because we're here to honor all the folks sitting next to ourselves tonight. So, on that note, let's meet our volunteers in early care and education. So, let's start with our first honoree, Kaprece James. Kaprece is being recognized for her leadership skills and volunteerism in youth development and her efforts in building United Way Monterey County's Emerging Leaders Society. One of Kaprece's most memorable efforts was to lead the construction of a greenhouse at Seaside Child Development Center. The greenhouse was not Kaprece's only contribution to the Seaside Child Development Center. She connected United Way's Martin Luther King's book collection event and delivered new books to the center. Moreover, Kaprece expanded the reach of Emerging Leaders Society, engaging new people in the United Way mission. Now nominated for their work at the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District is the Garland Park Volunteer Team. The Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District's mission is to preserve and protect as much natural beauty of the Monterey Peninsula as possible for future generations. The Garland Park Volunteer Team helps to make their mission come true. They mobilize these efforts and dedicate themselves to maintaining quality visitor services and high-quality trails. They keep the Garland Park Visitor Center staffed and the Arboretum watered. This team ensures that visitors and school groups are provided with educational access to the Garland Visitor Center, Arboretum, and the trail system. Our children can thrive in the great outdoors thanks to these folks. So let's mention all of the team members. Here are the Garland Park Volunteer team members.
Come on up.
And you can come on up. Let's say, go ahead. More together.
Slide over a little bit. Yes, please.
While we're doing this, if anybody hasn't been out to Garland Park lately, make sure you go. It's amazing.
I think it's time we can give them one more round of applause. All right, thank you, folks. Now we're about to talk about some science. Geology can be a difficult subject, not only to learn but to teach. And thanks to Donna Zahn, geology is now easy. Nominated by the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District, Donna took her love of rocks to a new height. Donna says, rocks tell the story of all other things. She created an exhibit that gives visitors an educational framework, and it explores the physical, chemical, biological, and geological processes and reactions that create changes to the natural environment. As a result of Donna's work, families and schools now have a new place to experience a fun educational exhibit at the Powell Corona Regional Parks Discovery Center. Donna Zahn. As an aside, I was actually able to visit that center a few weeks ago, and it is beautiful if you haven't had a chance to visit yet at Powell Corona Park. Go for a hike. All right, how about one more round of applause? Now, the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District also recognizes Linda Yamane for her work in educating the public about the Native American culture in the Monterey area. Linda created an 8-foot tule boat, just like those used by her indigenous Rumsen-Ohlone ancestors. This boat is now a prominent feature at the Palo Corona Regional Parks Discovery Center, inspiring children from pre-K to adults to learn more about the early history of our beloved community. Linda continues to educate public on the Rumsen-Ohlone native language, history, and even performed a blessing ceremony at the new park's dedication event. Linda? You know, you have to go visit. There's so many things going on in California. All right. Now nominated for their work in youth development and mentorship at Rancho Cielo are Jeffrey Mann and Cassie Hamblin of the Naval Postgraduate School. This team of two has ignited a spark in the lives of youth at Rancho Cielo. Following Rancho Cielo's mission, they help transform the lives of youth and empower them to become accountable, competent, productive, and responsible citizens. They dedicate their time and energy to help youth gain self-esteem, academic and vocational skills to further their education and graduate. They dedicate, in their role as mentors, Jeffrey and Cassie always display leadership, patience, and problem-solving skills. They provide a foundation of relationship building that can last a lifetime. This dynamic duo has proven to be youth's biggest cheerleaders. Jeffrey and Cassie. All right, another round of applause, make them smile.
And can I ask when, as Dan calls names, why don't you come on up sooner so we can have eyes on you more? I want to see more of you all.
The moment you hear your name, jump from your seat, spring forward. You don't have to run. I don't think there are any tripping hazards. We're okay. Maybe gracefully jaunt over there and be recognized. Thank you. All right, we're going to start with a name this time, so you'll be ready. Susan Elwood. Susan donates her time by volunteering with the Junior Achievement Career Success Program at Seaside High School. For the last 7 years, Susan personally led this program. Each year, she changed the lives of over 30 students for the better. This program gives students real-world experience, career goal assistance, college application knowledge, workforce education, and helps them transition into adulthood. Susan also organizes a job shadow day in collaboration with the Pebble Beach Company. During this 8-week capstone program, Susan creates a small group mentorship event and brings in keynote speakers. Susan generously gives her time in the classroom and beyond to help teens reach their fullest potential and be prepared for life after high school. Susan up. Cerry Rasmussen volunteers for the Girl Scouts of the Central Coast. Cerry is a mother to 4, a military wife, and a Girl Scout leader for not 1, but 2 troops. Cerry brought the Pinewood Derby. The Pinewood Derby has historically been a Boy Scouts event. Girl Scouts learn to use a saw and cut wood and create a car design, decorate, and race. Cerry also organizes the World Thinking Day event, which allows the girls to experience many different countries in one afternoon. Cerry's work reached more than 100 Girl Scouts in the county. She is inclusive of everyone and stands by the Girl Scout law by being a sister and a leader to every Scout. All right, one more round. All right, who's next? Who am I going to call on next? You're ready. Don't get nervous. It's okay. Ekin, Atila. Ekin was a 7th grade Carmel middle school student and a child of a long-standing Rotarian family. She brought Rotary International's mission of humanitarian services and goodwill to our community. At Carmel Middle School, she set up an Interact Club and recruited over 25 members in her first year as club president. The Interact Club organized 2 events, 1 local and 1 international. The Interact Club's local event was the Early Literacy Program Read to Me Project. They collected books for thousands of children in Monterey County. Also, Ekin led the club with the WAPI Project. You ready for it?
Yes.
An international water pasteurization initiative. Over 200 water pasteurization indicators were assembled and shipped to countries in need of clean water. As a result of Ekin's initiative to charter a service club at Carmel Middle School, students continue to serve and volunteer in the community. All right, one more round of applause for Ekin. I'm scanning through the crowd. Itzel Hernandez. Where are you? Not in attendance, but we can still recognize her tonight. She volunteers for the Eden Housing After School Youth Program. Itzel is committed to helping youth flourish and grow their confidence and abilities. Itzel mentors the students, helps them study and complete homework assignments, and constantly engages youth to stay involved in the after-school program. Through Itzel's commitment to giving, the kids have learned the importance of being selfless and helping others. Her passion for childcare and education is shown every week while she volunteers in Eden Housing. Itzel always has a positive attitude and is an inspiring role model for the resident youth at Eden Housing. Now next, nominated for her work as a court-appointed special advocate for Casa Monterey is Lisa Spence. Lisa is assigned to a specific foster child. She helps her attend court hearings, adjust to new foster homes, and transition to new schools. Most importantly, Lisa advocates for the child's needs. She wrote multiple court reports and appeared in court in support of the child. She made recommendations to the judge and then monitored the child's progress as she adjusted to the court's findings. Lisa engages with her Casa foster child almost daily. Despite her demanding career and commitment to her own son, she believes we must serve within our community and live our values. Lisa is an Army veteran and a single mother.
My turn, huh?
It's your turn.
So this concludes the category for early care and education. And in this category, we have the opportunity to recognize a volunteer that goes above and beyond. Tonight, we're going to recognize Susan Elwood. And I hope you've already joined me in congratulating her, but please join me in congratulating Susan. And I wanted to share with you a few words. We actually asked all of our honorees to tell us a little bit about what inspires them. And what she shared with us is, what inspires me is the belief that every young person deserves to have hope. My classes emphasize that current life circumstances in no way impede a journey forward. Interacting with young people to help them see a dream come to life is what it's all about. So thank you, Susan. And
okay, you know what they say? Time waits for no man.
And time must obviously be a woman.
I'm not going to touch that.
Actually, in my house, yeah, man waits for time.
And speaking of time, it is now time to talk about an issue with a vital importance to everyone in Monterey County. Our next category is housing solutions. Our volunteers in this category are inspired to give back to those who have served our community by providing resources, shelter, and employment. They devote their time today to build community gardens, prepare and deliver meals, and advocate for housing solutions. They look to the future with creative housing solutions like tiny houses and accessible development units. Let's meet our volunteers in housing solutions. Our open to all. For 34 years, Community Holiday Dinner Committee hosts a holiday celebration providing dinner, entertainment, gifts, and free clothing for families at the Monterey Fairgrounds. The holiday dinner celebration unites a diverse group of community residents, creates new friendships, and encompasses the spirit of volunteerism through service, leadership, teamwork, and compassion. This is no small feat. The committee generously gives hours of their time collaborating with local agencies, businesses, and individual donors for monetary and in-kind donations. Toys and clothes are usually donated by the Salvation Army and the Shoreline Communities Church. Food is donated by local businesses and the Food Bank for Monterey County. These compassionate volunteers create community for all. Community Holiday Dinner Committee nominees are, as you say your name, go ahead and stand and come on. Community Chair Rich Hewitt. Co-Chair Trish Jackson. Mo Bass. Nina Von Drockenfeld. Jeffrey Walker. Shirley Thompson. Sunny Singh. George Dufay. Bob Nolan. Nancy Nolan. Tiffany Bass. And Lupe Ortiz. Everyone get in there, squeeze tight. Do we still say cheese? Is that what we say? We're smiling when we get our pictures taken. Good job.
So, Dan, I'm gonna step in here for a moment. I learned something from these folks tonight. And one of the things I learned was that, you know, everybody wants to be there on December 25th, which seems odd to me but they really need a lot of help on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The simpler tasks of chopping potatoes and helping with decoration and that sort of thing. So if you're with your family on the 25th, what you'd really like to give to this great organization, think about maybe earlier there and just helping out and part of the laboring oar. Thank you very much.
Advocacy seeks to ensure that people who are disadvantaged or vulnerable are represented to decision makers. And P. Ray Pope's work reflects just that. Ray's efforts for housing spans over 35 years. Ray has been instrumental in assessing the housing needs and services for the homeless, veterans, seniors, and low-income population of Monterey County. P. Ray Pope? Yeah, come on. For the past 3 years, Ray has served as the chair of the Housing Committee of the Monterey County branch of the NAACP. Ray also leads a program with the Salvation Army and helps the homeless population find housing and related services. Ray's advocacy efforts don't stop there. His goal for 2019-2020 is to lead efforts to place 50 tiny houses for the homeless, seniors, and low-income individuals and families here in Monterey County. All right, next. I'm eyeing you all. Any one of you could get called up here. Wes White. He was the guy waving in the back of the room. I'm like, I'll wave back. Wes is not only an active advocate for the homeless population of Monterey County, but a remarkable messenger communicating the issues related to housing through digital media. Wes regularly attends and records public hearings and forums and shares his recordings on his YouTube channel. Wes's digital communication educates residents of their rights and legislation concerning housing issues. Wes is the host of Monterey County Salinas Homeless Union meeting at the Chinatown Community Learning Center. He also maintains a homeless advocate group on Facebook where members engage in pertinent discussions. He sits on the Housing Advisory Board for Monterey County. He is truly committed to the residents of Monterey County, making sure awareness is brought to the housing crisis and helps to advocate for necessary and positive change. Everyone's Harvest in Monterey County recognizes Brianna Arroyo. For her dedication to their mission of providing access to healthy, affordable produce through certified farmers markets and community food programs throughout Monterey County. Brianna encourages eating local produce by engaging youth at the farmers markets. She She talks at public events to promote the incorporation of local produce into diets. Brenna is eager to volunteer in a multitude of Everyone's Harvest programs, making a commitment to the Monterey County community and their families. That is Ekin.
Nice job.
Now, Everyone's Harvest in Monterey County also recognizes Marcus Leibovitz. Marcus is committed to the community by tackling food injustices and helping to promote a healthier lifestyle for those living in Monterey County. Marcus specifically focuses on promoting and invigorating a community garden of fruits and vegetables. He created a compost system for the community garden to help reduce waste. He showed incredible leadership, helping others to get involved in the community garden, and he is always ready to help any way that he can, including planting and project planning to ensure crops will flourish in seasons to come. I like the energy still tonight. I'm going to go off script here, just a second, sorry. Don't freak out. I don't mean to talk about me, because this isn't about me. As my job as a meteorologist, I get to talk about good weather and bad weather. People like to hear about good weather. They want to know during a drought when it's going to rain, or when they're tired of rain when it's going to be sunny. But today, I just get to talk about awesome people all night long. So and I'm honored to be able to do that, so I'm glad to be here again this year. So we've got some more people we're going to talk about, so get ready to honor them for all the hard work that they're doing. Next, Romania Salas and Maria Gomez. They truly embrace the meaning of advocacy and community. Romania and Maria are Eden Housing residents and have been volunteering for the Eden Housing Food Program for over 6 years. The two plan out and organize community events for the residents, such as yard sales, national night out, holiday events, and food drives. These events also allow families to receive free groceries from the food bank. Romania and Maria have gone above and beyond to help recruit volunteers to join the program and community meetings as well. So maybe they're not here, but give them a round. Next, we recognize David Louie. David is dedicated to improving the health and well-being. He volunteers for the Meals on Wheels of the Salinas Valley. David helps usher that meals are packaged and organized for pickup and delivery. Rain or shine, David is always ready to take an extra step when needed. He is self-motivated and a team player. He engages with all the volunteers and gives a helping hand for anyone who needs it. And he always does it with a smile. David's commitment to volunteering every week shows his passion for helping seniors get their needs met. David is an inspiration to his organization and his community. And Meals on Wheels of the Salinas Valley also recognizes Tony Hedgebeth. For his commitment to improving the health and well-being of seniors. Tony helps assure all the meals are packaged for delivery to the seniors and helps keep grocery lists organized for the meals. Tony always goes the extra mile to complete a new task and steps up to the plate when needed. Tony is a vital part of the Meals on Wheels team and the impact they make in helping people stay in their own homes. And now we recognize Sean McMillan. Sean is committed to helping better the lives of veterans and assist them to become productive members of our community. He volunteers at the American Legion Post 593 and at the Veterans Transition Center of Monterey County. Sean connects veterans to community resources that they need to find employment, food, housing, and related services. Sean helps out wherever there is need. You can find him answering phones, greeting the veterans, emptying food trucks, sorting food, breaking down boxes, handing out canned goods. Sean is making a real difference in the lives of our veterans. And now we recognize Chantel Davis. Chantel gives her time volunteering for the youth of the Seaside community at Delamonte Manor, a large affordable housing complex in Monterey County. Chantel led the efforts in building a park for children and families to enjoy. Chantel rallied a grassroots group of volunteers and spearheaded fundraising events with the Seaside Police Department. She organized community barbecues to help bring awareness to the project. She and her volunteers raised $70,000 And not only did she lead to create this new playground, but Chantel also collected food and clothing donations for children. For over 17 years, Chantel showed an incredible amount of leadership, passion, and commitment to her community.
And now that we've finished recognizing all of the honorees in the Housing Solutions category, it's time to shine the light on a volunteer that always goes the extra mile in his volunteerism efforts. On this note, we would like to recognize Wes White for his service. He already joined me in celebrating his work. And here's what inspires Wes to dedicate his time and talent to bring awareness to the housing issues in Monterey County. In 2010, I was a stay-at-home dad who lost contact with his children through divorce. Without a family to love, I felt the call to be a helper and a healer for a much wider community. With my YouTube channel, I published over 400 videos in 2018 to support any and all public community engagements and events that were positive. Congratulations.
Now I have a question for you. What is the best time to open a gift? How about the present? Yes.
What do you win? What do you win?
Now I've got another question for you. Is getting back a refund from the IRS considered a present?
How you win that?
Well, I would say maybe, right? Maybe if you weren't going to get one anyway, and then you got one, then that's a present, right? Well, okay, right. Well, there's no time like the present for the volunteers in our next category, financial education. Our nominees in the financial education category are inspired by the hardworking families in our community. They commit to hours of training and education, leadership, and teamwork. We have volunteers here tonight who have served for over 10 years, and each year a new generation of volunteers are recruited. Here are our financial education honorees. We'll start first by recognizing Lisa Fimby Ducart. But we will clap for her anyway. Let's talk about her. She's an inspiring 10-year-old VITA volunteer and a master trainer for greeter screeners that support United Way's VITA program. Lisa identified the need for the greeter screeners position, went above and beyond her responsibilities, and developed a training curriculum and manual for this position. This training educates them about tax law, site agreements, supplies, and software. It teaches them the importance of the screening process so that greeters and screeners can ensure that the taxpayers qualify for free tax services and have all of the required documentation. Lisa's contribution has had a great significant impact in maintaining smooth operations at the free tax prep sites, and she has developed relationships with a regular customer base, people who return year after year to use the service. So, Now, if you are looking for somebody who loves taxes, look no further. Loyanne Flynn de Rancho. Loyanne has been a site coordinator for and United Way Monterey County's VITA champion since 2008. She is an instrumental player in establishing and coordinating a well-structured free tax preparation program, and her many roles led to developing unique strategies and implementing improvements to tax sites. She wears different hats without any hesitation. She is a hands-on team player, from ordering supplies, lifting heavy boxes, providing water or snacks to her teams, to preparing taxes, troubleshooting with software, or even printers. And you know, if you've ever worked with printers, you know that's not fun. Loyanne shines the limelight on everyone except for herself, so now it's time that she be recognized. United Way's VITA program offers free tax preparation service to those who qualify. IRS certified volunteers provide free basic income tax return preparation. The VITA volunteer team consists of tax preparers, greeters, and site coordinators. This nomination is for the VITA site coordinators. Site coordinators ensure that both tax preparers and taxpayers are successful and satisfied. They provide seamless logistics, superior quality control, and excellent customer service. Each site coordinator must complete a 32-hour training course and pass an IRS certification exam. In 2018, VITA site coordinator volunteers dedicated a total of 1,257 hours at a value of more than $44,800. In 2018, 131 volunteers helped tax preparers complete 2,633 tax returns. This generated $4 million in refunds, that's that president we were talking about, and credits, and a $5 million economic impact to Monterey County. So, our 2018 VITA site coordinators are, I'm going to call y'all up here, so just come on. Noelle Allen. Atila. Linda Show. Susie Esparza. Loyanne Flynn de Rancho. Rita Hill. George Jones. Monica Renteria. Alex Sandoval. Angelica Seabright. Brenda Sagala. Ruth Solis. David Vasquez.
We had a scheduling glitch. Some of these people are actually preparing taxes tonight. They're across town doing what they do. So
just assume they're watching the live feed and get that. Hopefully we can watch the replay later too.
Right on.
Okay, so this brings us to the end of our acknowledgement of extraordinary volunteers in the financial education category. And before we move on, let us acknowledge a VITA volunteer who has been generously sharing her time and talent since 2008. The recipient of the special recognition in the category of financial education goes to Loyanne Flynn de Rancho. Read to you what Loyanne shared with us about what inspires her. Because, especially for her, I always wondered, why does she love taxes so much? Here are her reasons. I volunteer for VITA because the organization and partner staff and the other volunteers are highly skilled, above and beyond, community-spirited people.
I spent many years in public service without a lot of direct contact with the people who benefited. VITA is a chance for me to experience our impact in a very personally fulfilling way. Thank you, OEM.
And a shameless plug for any of you that want to try a new highly skilled volunteer opportunity. We are recruiting every year for new VITA volunteers.
Cool.
Now, in addition to the 3 categories, we recognize outstanding community members with the following special awards. Please prepare to approach the front as we call your name. Brett and Katie will present you with your awards.
We honor the lifetime voluntary contributions of a valuable community member through this Lifetime Achievement Award. This person dedicated over 30 years of his career to create awareness around housing solutions, and he advocated for the residents of Monterey County. The Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Ray Pope.
Ray,
what inspires you to dedicate so much time? We asked him, and he said, it brings great pleasure and self-fulfillment to help those who cannot afford to help themselves. Working with the homeless and assisting with solving the affordable housing shortage in our county is my personal mission. Decent housing is not a right. Decent housing is a must for all.
And now we give our Outstanding Youth Award by honoring a young volunteer. Her leadership, commitment, and character through services and volunteerism has been an inspiration and a role model for her community. Special recognition is awarded to Ekin Atila. I don't need to do that, do I? So let's learn what inspires Ekin, a young volunteer of character and love for service. What inspires me to volunteer is to see the positive impact my actions have made on other people's lives and futures, and to build peace in the community and in the world. Thank you.
Recognize an exceptional group of volunteers who brought teamwork to an entirely different level. They are dedicated to United Way's mission, vision, and commitment to servicing our community. The Exceptional United Way Volunteer Group Award goes to our VITA site coordinators. Remember, half of them are still out doing their job. Again, site coordinators. What inspires them, and here's some of the things they said. Being able to help people keep more of their hard-earned money and growing within the program. volunteering to exercise your brain, solving puzzles, take some anxiety out of tax time, helping people keep their hard-earned money, and hanging out with friends who happen to be tax fanatics. Thank you, site coordinators. Before we move on, actually Dan's going to wrap us up soon, but I did want to recognize another special group of volunteers we have here tonight. We have some AmeriCorps members. Are volunteering a full year of their lives, in some cases, Megan, more than 1 year, because they keep coming back for more, and committing to really embed in one of our local nonprofits to help build up the volunteer infrastructure for our whole community and help make our nonprofits more efficient and effective. And they really bring a lot of heart and energy and life to our community. So I want to thank all of you, VIP.
So Katie, I'm going to correct you just a little bit, and I rarely get to do this, so I'm taking some glee in it. Dan's going to sort of wrap it up, but then I'm going to wrap it up.
So he's saying don't go anywhere. Even when it seems like I'm done, stick around. We took a journey to the past, to the present, and to the future. We honored those who went the extra mile to give their time, talent, and passion to serve our community. Tonight, we learned about those who educated us with their history. Tonight, we learned about those who devote their time to better the lives of working families, children, and youth of our community. And we gained motivation and hope from those who are advocating for the residents of Monterey County in order to create a better future for everyone. The 2019 Live United Awards honorees, please stand up for a final round of applause. And don't forget to pick up your frames and certificates. They're over there on that table, off to your left.
In the corner.
That's the spot over there. And of course, remove your name tags and leave them on the chair so we know that you're still here. And to the recipients of our special recognition, please proceed to the front of the stage and we'll direct you to the photo area because we got to do some more photos tonight. Once again, we'd like to thank John Marici, Vice President, General Manager of Monterey Plaza Hotel and Spa, and his staff for making this marvelous evening possible. Thank you to all those who took the time to nominate tonight's honorees. We hope that you'll keep this event in mind next year and keep your eyes and hearts open for volunteers in next year's Live United Awards.
This is not only a special night for United Way and for you honorees. My mother always told me that you should never ask a woman her age. She actually told me, and today Katie is 45 years old.
You all sounded fabulous. Thank you. This is a very memorable birthday.
So I want to recognize a couple of folks. If you'll sit down there and just take a second here. John and Mary, would you stay standing? John and Mary, thank you so much for your daughter. You deserve credit for how you raised her. I always told my parents when I got in trouble that the hardest kids to raise became the best adults. That was my excuse at least, so she must have been a terrible kid and you must have done a great job. Gary, would you stand up? Gary's Katie's husband. His name is Mann. I'm thankful for Gary for a couple of things. One is that he's a lawyer and it got used to her having a board chair who was a lawyer, and so it wasn't so hard for me. But I found out we had something in common when they met. He claimed he was a recovering lawyer, and he became a full-fledged one again. Me, on my first date with my wife said if I'd known you were a lawyer, I never would have accepted this date. So we share something in common, but it's been an incredible pleasure working with you these last, I don't know, 4 years or so, and thank you for your dedication to the community and United Way. Let's give her one more round. Okay, so Dan, if you want to wrap it up now, you can.
All right. One more time, thank you everybody. Next time you're watching the news and everything seems kind of grim, just remember that these are your neighbors and there's a lot of people doing some amazing things. Good night.